So guys, once again, talking about the exercise, like the reason why, guys, I don't record a whole session is to make the recordings a little bit shorter, so they are easier for you to consult and look for the actual information, which is no. That's why I do this. So guys, with this exercise on vague language, what we needed to do was, to have these presentations, but without using a specific numbers or a specific figures. Remember, guys, this word, figure, figure. So when we say figures, figures could be what we understand as figura in Spanish, but also we use that word to talk about numbers. In that case, it would be equivalent to cifras, you see? So figures could be cifras in certain contexts. So we didn't have to present figures in this case, but it was more to make descriptions with these expressions that we studied yesterday and be very general about that. So that's the first observation, and I want to make. Also, guys, there were a couple of cases in which perhaps included text on this sort of infographics, and then once again, you didn't take care very well of the structure of sentences. So be careful. This is something serious. That's another thing I wanted to remark. And the third thing I wanted to remark, guys, is instructions. You gotta be very careful with instructions. So for example, let's say, and this is something that could happen if you study, for instance, when you study a master's or when you present an international exam, this is going to be very serious. So if I, for instance, for this exercise, I said to you, please choose a place you know, right? So please choose a place you know. It could be a city, it could be a town, it could be even a neighborhood, and the exercise should be about that place that you know. But there were like 2 or 3 cases in which I saw that people were talking about other cities around the world. And in this case, no problem. Okay, for this exercise, no problem. But there might be a case in which, for instance, if I say write an essay using this criteria, I don't know, about a place you know, and you write something about, I don't know, Zimbabwe, right? And you compose a great text. But if I ask you if you know that place and how you did the exercise, and you say, no, I don't know the place, but I thought that it was just to choose a place from the world, whatever, that might be an aspect for you to fail that grade, you see. So even if you do a great exercise but you didn't follow instructions correctly, that could be a reason for you to have a non-passing grade, you see. So even if you do a great job, if you didn't follow instructions, that could be a problem, and you could get a bad grade even though you did a good job at the end of the day. So you have to be very careful with instructions, guys. Very careful with instructions, because you know what, and that's something I would like to do. Like from my experience, which as I said, I've been teaching just for 10 years more or less, but I've been only teaching at a university level. I have never worked in schools. I have only worked in universities. And that's another issue, another mistake that I see very often. Is very common. As I said, that one of the mistakes that I see more often is writing super long sentences. This is one of those mistakes as well. Not following instructions very clearly. I see this as a problem, and the point is that this should serve as a reflection. Like each one of us should think about that. How good am I following instructions, and perhaps like do something about it, because the thing is that it's not just a problem that you guys have. That's my point. It's a problem which is very, very common. I even see it when I'm working in my job, as a manager. Sometimes I give instructions and people just don't get it. There are some people who find it really hard, you see. And then, for instance, we are in a meeting and I say, I would like you to please do this and that, and they just don't do it. I mean, they don't understand what they gotta do. And sometimes you need to work really fast and you need people to pay attention and react really quick, and they can't. So that's my point. This is a problem that I've seen a lot in the university students, but also in professionals, people who have already some experience working. and they still have this kind of issue. So this is something we need to be careful with. We need to focus a little bit more on how we follow, how we process instructions. And let's see, I mean, if you guys see that that's an issue you have, you can start working on that as well. So those are my comments in general terms. I'd like to know, guys, if you have any comment, question, I don't know, anything that you would like to say about what I've said so far.
Yes, I really want to say something,
Yep.
and it's something common, like since not since the virtuality begins,
Hmm.
but since ever, I'm in this university, is that
Hmm.
all the people expect that just the teacher have the capability or just hey is going to talk or
Yep.
interact in the class, and you only enter the class, listen to the teacher, and just
Yep.
go out and just only say yes, say hi, bye, 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 bye.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
and that's the most common situation that I've seen in here. So yeah, I think that everything you have said is right. We need to be focused on because we are now in the middle of the career. We are not just in first semester. We are about to end the English course. We are now seeing French. And if
Yep.
you are not able to follow instructions or being capable to be autonomous, you are not going to be near a good professional and also a good teacher. So yeah.
That is absolutely right, Diego. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I totally agree with on that as well. And the thing is that one of my obsessions, guys, and this is one of my obsessions talking about, you know, from my professional perspective, one of my obsessions is like to tell the students I have the chance to work with about what's going to happen in the future. Like it's like I feel like the need of traveling back in time, let's say, and tell people, look, be careful with this, you see? Because I always think about my experience in the university and how some things that I did in the university had a tremendous impact on my professional development, and I never thought that that would happen that way. So to be honest, when I was in the university, my final average score by the end, like el promedio de la carrera, was like 3.9. That was not very good. I mean, of course, like in Nacional, we had some professors who were like I mean, for real. Some of them said like, I never would give a student a five because no student deserves a five. Like they would say something like just like the authors. I mean, the actual authors of theories, they deserve the five because they have created the theory. The four could be for a professor or teacher because they are the ones who are teaching and they know what they are saying, and students would hardly ever get there. And for sure, like they would never give you a five. And for instance, there were some cases in which you would do an exercise, anything, or like present an assignment. They would really read, for example, one, let's say it was an essay of 5 pages. They would read just one page and they would say, this is useless. And they would not read the whole thing because they say, what a piece of crap is this? I mean, they were really tough. But my point is that my average in the university was not that good, to be honest. But I work on a couple of projects that changed my life completely. And this is why I believe projects are so important, because projects are all about creating things, doing things with your own, with your own potential, with your own capacity. And when you create a project, you need to and that's what we are trying to do this semester. For creating a project, you need to see problems, you need to see needs, and then you put all your potential on solving those needs. And those skills make a huge difference. When I was like in fifth semester, I did my first big project in the university, and that was not a project for a class. It was just a thing that a friend of mine and I decided to do, and that's when I discovered that I wanted to study a master's related with educational technology. That's when I discovered it. And then when I finished, I studied that master's. And so it's like every single thing you do in this moment can have a very serious impact on your future. You see, so as Diego says, we need to try to be autonomous, but it's not like you have to do this. You are doing it wrong. No, no, no. We don't have to take it from a negative perspective. We just need sort of stop and say, wait a minute, this is not just about learning English. This is about being professional. So, what can I do today to start changing that? You see, and also believing in yourselves, because I also heard people who goes like, oh, my English is so bad because my process hasn't been very good. My English is so bad. I don't know how to say this. I'm so shy. Don't say that. I mean, we can fix it. You can fix it. You are super young, first of all, and you can totally fix it, but we need to reflect on that and start doing things. So that, once again, guys, I cannot see you, so I cannot tell you if you are doing this or that or wrong, but you guys can see yourselves, and you can start seeing this. If you think about your feelings and your attitudes before starting the class, that tells you something. If every time you have to start a class, you go like, oh my God, why do I have to do this? I hate this. That's telling you how you are reacting to the conditions, and perhaps that's something you could improve. If you perhaps, as I said, imagine that I had this class from my bed without taking a shower, feeling super lazy, that's telling me something, you see. So that's why we need to be extremely careful. It's all about reflecting all the time, trying to do something important every day, like every day trying to do something that can, change the way you feel, the way you do your things. This is so important, you see, guys. So believe me, we can make these stops, these little pauses anytime, just to say, look, this is not working. What can we do? Be careful with that, you see, because I wouldn't feel very well just, continuing with my classes. Like what some people say, like they say stuff like, I already learned what I needed to learn. You are the ones who are learning. So it's like, if you don't want to study, if you want to work, if you don't want to work, that's your problem because I already learned. No, that's not how it works. We all are learning here. And I'm also learning from these experiences. But the point is that we cannot just pretend that everything's okay. So I enter here, I talk for a couple of hours and do a couple of silly things with the breakout rooms and stuff. And then at the end, you say, present and goodbye, teacher, have a good one. And that's it. No, that's not enough. You see, that's absolutely not enough. My responsibility, guys, is to offer the best that I can offer, and to tell you all the things that I believe I can tell you that can make any sort of change. Because at the end of the day, as I've said several times before, my point is not that you guys learn English a lot and that's it. I mean, of course, that's the reason why I'm here, essentially. But at the end of the day, the reason why I'm here is to share my experience and make sure that by sharing what I know and what I've done, you can see things from a different perspective, and at the end of the day, believe in yourselves and believe that you can do great things. So that's my obsession, and that's something I will do. I'm not here just to teach you English. I'm here to give my best and make sure that you guys can have a better perspective on your professional field. You can be very successful, you can have great jobs, you can have very good salaries, but you have to start working on that in this moment. You see, you have to start working on that in this moment, otherwise it's going to be impossible. This is something that I put several times in money, just to show you examples. We know there are some people who graduate and they work for several years, earning very bad salaries, around, I don't know, very low salaries, even though they are professionals. But there are some people who get very good salaries, but that's because they started, like envisioning what they wanted to do, and then they have a great career. So that's the point, guys. We have to be responsible for ourselves, but that depends a lot on each one of us. Okay, so that's it. So I don't know if anybody wants to say anything else before I proceed with the next thing that I have prepared. So guys, I don't know, anything you want to say, because once again, it's not about me talking, but it's about all of us, like reflecting on this and taking action. That's really important. No? Okay, guys, so let me see. This is what I mean, you see. It's like, this is
Well, teacher,
something.
I want to say something.
Yes, mister.
And well, I think that what you use that is not use like the traditional method that you are the person who knows and the other people just listen to you is something good because well I took from my experience that I also try to use it because I well we as a human we are like every day learning things new. For example, we always learn at least one word. So that is something
Mhm.
that I consider that is important. And well, yeah, that depends, not depends just on us, like, but depends on like everyone, like make an effort.
Mhm.
And especially with that things of the virtuality, well, it's somehow crazy, but it doesn't matter, it's what we have to do. So maybe the next year, as you said, we have the possibility to go to the
Absolutely.
university and we are going to, well, to master things. So, well, yes.
That is true, Felipe. Absolutely. And you know what? Yeah, it's something which is related to that is that when we are in a in the university, it's like as if we were inside a bubble. So it's like, for instance, we say, I don't feel motivated. I don't like this. I don't like that. But at the end of the day, we feel that we are in an institution who is that is responsible for giving us solutions. You see, and of course they have to, but the point is that when we are studying we are in a bubble because there is someone else who must do something. When we graduate it's absolutely different because we graduate, we've got certain skills, right? And if you don't find a job, you cannot complain. You know what they say, a llorar a la llorería, right? Because you cannot do anything, because nobody would say, oh, I'm so sorry you didn't have a job, let me help you. No, whatever. If you are in the university and you don't like a class, you can do something. I mean, at least we can complain and we can send a letter and we can say this class is a crap and we can say something. But when we graduate, and if we don't find a job, you cannot complain. You say there is nothing you could do. So that's related to what Felipe said somehow. So yeah, that's what I believe we need to be very, very careful. So guys, before we continue, I will just show you where we have to upload the homework. So remember, it's as if we were just one homework. We do two activities. So you would have to enter, guys, as you can see here, week number 4. We're gonna enter week number 4. We gotta click here in actividades individuales y colaborativas, and then you will find the assignment here, report and short presentation. So you simply have to work. Ideally, please try to upload both assignments in one single file. But if you have two files, I think you can do it. I think the platform will allow you. I mean, it says it will allow you, but I don't know if it actually will. So you simply have to upload both homeworks here. Yes, Johannet?
Just one person per group or
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
the
Yes,
okay.
Johanna, just like that. Exactly. Thank you very much for that question. So if you were working in a group of 3 people, just one of you has to do that, but make sure that you include the names of the people in the file or in the comment when you send the homework. That's it. But it's just one person per group. Actually, there is a setting which is like entregas grupales. So please check that because I don't know if it allows you to also include the names from the people directly. So this assignment is open from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. Okay, so once we finish the session, you will still have 1 hour to upload your files. So guys, do you have any question about this specifically? No, no,
No,
no.
No, teacher.
That's great, guys. So it's simply week number 4. That's how it goes. So, guys, now we're gonna jump to another thing that I'm really wanted to get to. So let me just open. Oh no, it was on the browser as well. So, guys, we're gonna go back to our project. So we said that, well, for this term, we are working on a business plan, and we said that you guys could choose any kind of business idea. That's where we were. I haven't told you how we are going to present this because we are making a couple of tests for that, and that's going to be a very interesting experiment. I'm a little bit nervous, to be honest, because I mean, it's not a big deal. Nothing bad is going to happen, but we will be using an application that I don't know if you know. I won't tell you yet because I'm trying to create more expectations here, but it might be really cool. but it has some technical implications, let's say. So hopefully, well, it's going to work. I have made some tests and it works well, but that's something we're gonna get to later. Okay, so far we are going to continue working on the plan itself, and then I'll show you how to do it. Just for you to know, guys, you're gonna have the business plan, which is the actual document, and then you will present that idea. It's like we're gonna have a presentation. But the thing is that that presentation, hopefully, we will not do it here in Zoom, but on this other platform that I'm testing. So that's something else I'll let you know about later because that's going to be really cool, believe me. So that's it. But for working on the business plan, we have worked so far, let me show you, on this format. We said that this is a design thinking format. Remember that basically, in general terms, we could say that design thinking is a methodology that which is used for innovation in general terms. So we will not go very deep into that, but perhaps on the second term when we work on a similar kind of project, we're gonna be talking a little bit more about design thinking. But so far we are talking just about our project itself. So the last time, guys, you work on a vision, right? On a vision statement, and it's like this first approach that you had on what you imagine from the perspective of your project and stuff, right? Then we also talk about the impact, which is the positive things that happen, that could happen if your product or service is used or offered. Today we're gonna be working, guys, on the two next aspects, and the next one is people, right? Remember that if we are using Mural because it allows us to follow the ISA storyline, so it's a little bit easier for us to know exactly what to work on. But today we're gonna work on, first of all, people. So who do we need to involve? So what it says here, how we identify all the individuals who may influence the creation, delivery, and use of the solution we develop. Highlight the most important stakeholders and articulate their needs, goals, and motivation. So guys, this word stakeholders, so important when we are working on projects. Let me put this word, as Felipe said, we every day we work, we oh my god, we learn a new word. So perhaps some of you don't know it, some of you do. So stakeholders, who knows what a stakeholder is? Because I know that we have at least one person who remembers that here. A stakeholder, what's a stakeholder, guys? I know you know, guys, come on. A stakeholder, what is a stakeholder of a project or initiative?
Stakeholder are the people who is going to participate in that case.
Yeah, somehow we could say that. A stakeholder, to be more specific, the stakeholders are those who may be interested in the development of any kind of project. So for example, when we are working on a project, we would say that our stakeholders are the people we work with. So just to give you an example, in this moment, we are working in the British Council, we are working a project with the Ministry of Education, for instance. So that means that from our perspective, from the perspective of the British Council, the Ministry of Education is one of our stakeholders, you see, because we are working with them. But other stakeholders could be all the, like the schools, right? The local education authorities. Let me put it over here, guys, so you never commit that mistake. Local education authorities. You know what that is, guys? The local education authorities. You know what that is?
Like in here, la Secretaría de Educación y eso.
Thank you. Yeah. Because there are some people who said like Secretariat of Education. No, it's better to say local education authorities. So we know that we have local education authorities all around the country. And actually, you know what? I'm gonna tell you another expression that you need to know, which is super useful to know. Look, it's in Spanish. So please remember this. This is going to be super powerful information. This is the way they call them in the public sector. They call them ETCs or Entidades Territoriales Certificadas. So every time you read a document or you read about projects or, you know, we know en las secretarías de educación, but at a national level and at a level of projects, they call them entidades territoriales certificadas. They are the same thing, okay? They are the same thing. But just for you to know, guys, a little parenthesis here. Cuando hablamos de secretarías de educación, pilas, para que lo tengan muy, muy claro. Nosotros sabemos que tenemos el Ministerio de Educación, que es una entidad nacional, ¿cierto? Es la entidad nacional que rige todo el tema de educación en el país. Y en los territorios están estas entidades territoriales certificadas, a.k.a. Secretarías de Educación. Pero en algunos casos, hay dependiendo del tamaño, ¿no? de los municipios y de los territorios, puede haber secretarías de educación distritales, que son las más grandes, como la de Bogotá, secretarías de educación municipales que aplican para la mayoría de ciudades capitales del país o ciudades intermedias como Bucaramanga, Ibagué, ¿cierto? Y también tenemos secretarías de educación departamentales, ¿listo? Para que ustedes lo tengan en cuenta. Entonces, por ejemplo, en el Tolima hay Secretaría de Educación de Ibagué, pero por ejemplo, para Venadillo, que también queda en el Tolima, allá no hay Secretaría de Educación de Venadillo, no. Ahí opera la Secretaría de Educación departamental, o sea que la responsable por esos territorios que son más pequeños son las Secretarías de Educación del departamento, en este caso, la Secretaría de Educación del Tolima, ¿listo? Entonces hay Secretarías de Educación departamentales, distritales y municipales, just for you to know. And this is what we talk about, you know, local education authorities in English, secretarios de educación, or entidades territoriales certificadas, same thing. So when we talk about stakeholders, in the context of an educational project, they could also be stakeholders. So in your case, for your solution, the stakeholders would be the people who would use your product. So if you are creating a product or service for a group of people, they are one of your stakeholders. But also those people who might be interested in helping you develop your idea, you see? So if you say, for example, we are going to be working on a startup for fashion, you see, it's a startup on fashion. So perhaps any designer, or for instance, I have a friend who can help us because he's a good designer. That person could be a stakeholder, you see? So in this case, by people, we mean all the people that could be involved, both those who might receive your product or buy your product or service, whatever, but also those who can help you develop your idea, okay? So in this part of people, we need to include all the people who would have any level of participation, okay? So it's not just your users. I mean, your users are one of your stakeholders, but also those allies or those people who can help you develop your idea, okay? Be careful with that. And then the other aspect we're gonna be working on today is challenges. So it says here, how we identify what might prevent us from achieving our vision, list our key enablers, obstacles, and areas of opportunity. So basically here in challenges, we need to state, you know, the challenges we would have for starting with this idea. So if we want to start this idea, what kinds of challenges would we find? They say, for instance, enablers. So enablers would be things or like, you know, things or people who could help you, who could be, you know, benefit your idea. But obstacles, it's a little bit obvious. And also areas of opportunity, which are, you know what they say, oportunidades de mejora. So it's like problems that you have in this moment, but that you can improve. So for example, let's say one challenge that we have for our idea, for our startup, remember that we are using this expression. Don't say company because we are not talking about companies. We are talking about startups. I don't know if you guys remember what a startup is. Don't you guys know? Oh my God, seriously? The startups, guys.
Not sure. Well, it's like
Ah, oh my
like
God.
a company that is a start. Well, not a company, but something like a
Yeah, something
project
like
that
that.
is a start.
Yeah. But how do you call? Yes, basically yes. But how do you call that in
Like the
Spanish? It's
first step, something like that.
like a what? What? Excuse me.
Like the first step.
Not really.
Like
Oh,
entrepreneurs.
you're so close. You're so close. I mean, Instagram is full of these, you know, for instance. It starts
To
with
start
E.
a business or something like that?
Yeah, you're so close.
Emprendedores.
Emprendimiento. Thank you very much, Lina. So in a startup would be like an emprendimiento in our context. So once again, a little parenthesis. We talk about startups or emprendimientos because we are not talking about starting a company yet. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a startup, which means like a short business, like a simple business idea that we could start without, needing lots of resources and stuff. So that's what we mean by this. So yeah, that's it, guys. By challenges, we mean all those challenges that you could face for starting your startup. So my point was, like, when we were talking about areas of opportunities, so you say, okay, we're gonna start up a startup, right? But one of the problems that we have is that we know nothing about budgeting. You know what budgeting is? Uh, budgeting.
Presupuesto.
Yes. So we have no knowledge on finance and stuff, and we say, oh, that's a shame. So I wouldn't do anything. Bye. No. If we don't know about that's actually an area of opportunity, because if you don't know nothing, well, you can learn. You see, if you don't know anything, you can start studying or consulting people that can help you, like do some finance for your project. This is not a problem, because it's not like you are in charge of a big company and you know nothing about finance, and that would be a problem. No, you're just starting, and if you don't know about that, that's something you could do. So the point is to identify that here. Okay, guys? So that means that we're going to be covering only those two aspects in this moment, and that's the people who might be involved, and also the challenges that we are going to face. In the case of people, this is something very simple that would be just like phrases, which is like bullet points on the people. No verbs are actually needed there. But in the case of the challenges, we need to see how to state those challenges. Those would be simple sentences. Remember, in the case of challenges as well, just write short sentences, simple sentences, if you will, in which you just simply put, the statements very clearly. Remember that every challenge would be one idea, one separated idea. So that means that you shouldn't write a long paragraph, but it would be more like bullet points in which you state idea by idea very specifically, super clearly, so you don't have, issues remembering and understanding that. Okay, guys? So what I'd like you to do is to use the next 15 minutes to start working on this. And if you have problems, guys, just let me know so I can help you. Tomorrow we're gonna be working on this still. So tomorrow we're gonna continue with working on this and checking your progress. Um, but I need you to like say touch base and start working on this. So guys, is it clear what we gotta do now?
Teacher, I'm confused about challenges. I didn't understand.
So look, the description they have on challenges here, they say, have we identified what might prevent us from achieving our vision? So it's like we need to identify those things that could be literally a challenge for us to develop our idea. So we have a business plan, right, in our head. We have a business idea, and we say, okay, we are going to sell this clothes this way and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, to do that, what kinds of, as they say here, obstacles, areas of opportunity, enablers. I mean, they say enablers, obstacles, areas of opportunity in order to sound more positive, because otherwise we could say list the problems that we could face. It's not necessarily problems. And that's my point. Because it's like, for example, as I said, we are going to start our project on fashion, right? Well, one of the challenges would be how to get all the all the inputs we need, all the materials that we need. I don't know how to where to find the materials. That could be a challenge, for instance, if you don't know that. I don't know anything about budgeting, so I think we need to study that. That's an area of opportunity. Or if you say, once we have the products, I believe one thing which is really hard is everything related with sending the products to the final customers. I don't know how to do that, you see? So it's like you would list by areas of opportunity, we mean all those things that you don't know how to do, but you could learn, for example. Obstacles would be actual, obstacles that you could have. But in general terms, as I said, it's all those things that could be literally a challenge. I don't want to say problem because they are not problems, they are challenges, you see? It's like todos los retos que tenemos que enfrentar o tendremos que enfrentar cuando empecemos nuestra implementación y planeación también de nuestra idea. Is it a little bit more clear now?
Yeah, totally. Thank
There
you.
you go. There you go, guys. So that's it. So I will open the breakout rooms so you can go. Remember that we are working in small groups. This is a project that I prefer that you guys work in groups, as I said. It works way better regarding the skills that we need to develop. So that's it. So we're gonna take around a little bit more than 10 minutes to sort of talk among yourselves, guys. But remember that that's something you're gonna start today and we need to finish tomorrow, but we are also going to work tomorrow here. So my suggestion would be for you guys to have like some sort of a draft. What I would do, my suggestion would be like you guys will have a little meeting yourselves now on this, and each one of you could do the exercise individually, and tomorrow you can share what you guys did and actually put here like a final version of those statements. That's what I suggest you guys should do. Okay, guys. So let me just pause the recording. Oh, Diego, you've got a question. Yes, Diego, please.
Yes, but it's about the homework. The Moodle is not allowing me to upload the file because it's maximum 6 files and there are already 6 files in the platform.
Wow. So in that
Yeah,
case,
teacher
yes.
have like the same issue.
In that case, you need to, that's why I said that we should try to use only one file. So you got two options. One option would be to put all the files in less files, or the other option would be to upload everything to, for instance, Google Drive and copy paste there a link to Google Drive, and I would just check that.
Teacher is just that. I mean, I have, for example, the both homeworks in one file, but the 6 files that are in the module are like if I upload them, you know what I mean?
Yes, teacher, that they are trying to say is that, for example, on Moodle, when we enter to Moodle, it's like just we can see the other words, and this assignment is just for 6 groups, for example.
Yes, teacher.
Just for
If
6
you want,
groups?
I can share my
Yes.
screen in order
Oh.
to you.
Yeah, please. Thank
Yes,
you.
it's something weird, but yeah,
Look,
I
teacher.
understand.
I don't understand.
This is group, default group, and you
Did you
can
put
only
available
share
just for 6 files?
6
I think.
files, teacher.
Okay. Well, no, I think the easiest way to do it is what I said before, which is like just share a link to Google Drive. You see, so instead of uploading the files, you would put here a link. Because let me double check. Yes, I just will change that configuration so it allows you also to answer using text. I just did it. So in this moment, you guys should be able to copy paste the link on Google Drive, and that's it. So you put all the files you need there, but you need to be careful with the folder that you create for the assignment. So you make sure that I can have access to it, because sometimes I enter, and if I don't have access, well, that would be useless. So yeah, guys, don't worry. I would say that instead of, if you have problems uploading the files, simply put everything on a Google Drive folder with permission for me to check it out, of course, and just copy paste here the link. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
There you go, guys. So we're gonna take around 10 minutes for you guys to talk about how we'll be working on this activity for tomorrow. But as I said, do not worry. Tomorrow we're gonna continue working on this also here. So I can help you with that. I will assist the groups and help you a little bit with the writing of those aspects and understand better what this exercise is about. Remember, these are planning activities, so that means that you need to focus on using the formats for planning your own ideas. It's not just about putting the texts correctly. That's not the most important part in this format. The most important part is using the format as a planning tool for you to develop your idea. So guys, let's take around 10 minutes for doing that, and then we'll be back here um, for calling the attendance. Okay, we got around 10 minutes, guys. You can do it now. So guys, as I said, we are going to continue working on this part of the project tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna be focusing on essentially two things. First, well, finishing this part that I just shared with you, the part on the people and the challenges, and then we will try to have a look at the vision and impact, especially on the way the sentences are put together there. So we're gonna try to model the exercise, which means, for instance, in the case of vision, what kind of text we should write. Same thing in the case of impact, and then on the other two fields, just to see what would be the best way to put the information. Because chances are that sometimes we try to write blocks of text like paragraphs when bullet points would be more useful, or we may use bullet points when the text should be written in blocks. So we're going to try to model the exercise a little bit so we see exactly how to do it, and also to see what kind of structures we're using there. Also, tomorrow's Friday, so that means that we're going to play a little bit. So if I were you, I would be studying a little bit more on language conventions, because tomorrow exercise would focus especially on that game. For tomorrow, we're going to will focus especially on language conventions. So, and especially on sentences. So let's see if you guys can have a good result. So I'm going to stop the recording, as I will just call the attendance, and then we are good to go.